makes multi-millions and billions of dollars of profit every year. And you're telling me you can't afford to pay all of us that help contribute to your riches to make sure that we're cool and living at a livable wage. And you can't do that, then something has to change on that front. So all what that story connects with millions of Americans across the board, and
Yeah,
something got to change for that.
yeah. Yeah, though those of us that live on, just a social security check, something like that could be life threatening.
You cut. So here's the thing I don't get. This is what pisses me off about when Republicans say we got to cut. Talk about cutting Social Security and Medicaid and all that. We've been paying into it
Yes, all our lives.
all our lives. That's not entitlement. That is a pot that we paid in that we're supposed to get back out of when we retire.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then, but that's their excuse to say that's a huge pot for them to take more out of on top of the tax cuts that under Bush and Trump that us as regular Americans got to pay for the extra taxes we got to pay for at the end that they're not saying. Even Democrats are not telling the truth about it. So I mean, all that's got to change. We can't. I mean, they're getting richer, but where they supposed to go with the money? To the moon, to the stars? Where they supposed to go? They're still on Earth like everybody else. So put the money towards things that can help all of us, so we can all be um, less worried about crime, less worried about your house being broken into because everybody else got their own stuff going on, own means and ways of survival. So you don't have to worry about somebody breaking your house because they're starving.
Yeah.
So I mean, but it's all a setup for them to say the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? The boogeyman argument. So we're done with it. We're as Americans, we're done with it. This generation's done with it. We demand change. We're gonna get it.
All right. Bob, I'm glad you made it back, brother.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you well. You want to go ahead?
Okay, good. No echo. Was I the one echoing before?
No,
Possible.
it was me. And
It was you.
Yeah.
one of my phone was on. It turned out low, so I'm the guilty party. I got to fuss at me.
My bad,
All right,
Bob.
you're back.
My
Yeah,
bad, Bob.
yeah, that's a very strange story. I don't know. It just seems it's almost like you know, too. It doesn't even seem real, but that's since it happened to you, Steve. I mean, that's amazing.
Sure did.
I don't know. I think it's just it was looking at all the topics for tonight. It almost seemed like all of them are just a symptom of the degradation and the rot that's infected our country. It's just really sad. There's no morals, there's no codes anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get back to Christianity and Jesus in our country, and
Amen.
instill morality again in everything we're doing.
Yeah. There used to be something called decency that we could expect out of one another, but that's the thing of the past, apparently.
Yeah.
That went away with common sense, which isn't very common these days.
Yeah.
All righty. Tamala, what do you think?
This is sad when the bank is robbing you. And I've been at jobs where they they didn't put the money in the bank. You get direct deposit, and they say, okay, your money gonna be there, and everybody waiting. Then you go back, your money supposed to be there that Friday. You go back to work on Monday, and where our money at? Oh, we sorry. Then they start blaming everybody. Well, it's HR, and the HR people blame. No, it's so and so. Okay, we don't care who did it. We want our money, just like you want your money. You want to get paid.
Yeah.
You want us to show up. You want us to work. Where I pay at? And so I've been being the educator and the teacher. I've been in many jobs where they didn't even. We had to wait because somebody didn't deposit the money. but this is a bank. So it's like you already robbing us with late fees and overdraft fees. You got all different kind of fees. They even charge you $5 a month when they send out your bank statement. And if they send anything out to you, they charging you $5. And I was like, wait a minute, y'all getting paid for every little thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. So why is you robbing people when you already know that the government is going to bail you out? So give people their money. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. Angela?
Well, I mean, this is the day and time that we're living in. Everything is going digital. It's coming because sooner or later, the paper dollar is not going to have value at all, and they are slowly but surely trying to move to digital currency, because they know that the paper dollar ain't gonna have no value. A dime not even worth a dime right now. A penny not worth a penny. None of the coins are worth the amount that is mounted in. Copper and nickel is not even worth it. So they're losing by cutting the coins anyway. So it is bound to happen. It's just when it's going to happen, and when we all are going to be affected. It's just another tactic of the government to be able to control. Go back to a couple of months ago when they were talking about Fed Now. They hadn't been talking about it here lately, but it's coming. And the way they talk about how it's going to work, the government is going to be able to control pretty much what you spend your money on. If they don't want to release your money, they don't have to release your money. And you will be in positions just like what's in this article right here. And it is sad. It is sad that the government could have that much control over your money that you work for. I'm just reminded of a lot of the things that are taking place. I remember the whole reason for them starting taxes and having taxes in place. It was only supposed to last during the war to help cover the war. Yet we still paying taxes.
Yeah.
Decades and decades and decades later, we still paying taxes. But it's all just another ploy to be able to control humans and be able to control what we do, how we do, and when we do it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's my take on it.
All right. Okay, anything else on that before we move on?
Well, yeah, I want to add one more thing. I probably misconstrued early on what this was really about. I knew it, but I didn't say it. But overall, it's wrong for these banks to hold out people's money. I remember one story of a gentleman who was trying to take out $25,000 out of his account. He's out in California. I think it was this year. And they told him that he has to wait, 3 to 5 business days because they didn't have it there. And the reason why, when we put our money in there, as soon as we put our money in there in our accounts, the bank automatically use it for loans for rich people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they expect that's going to be covered later on because they know when we get paid, it's check by check when we live. So there's a what's the word? A planning on knowing the ins and outs on people's finances and how rich people can use the banks of their people of their deposits for loans. And for what's going on now, that's many reasons why people can't get their money out because they don't have the money in there. because of the same exact reason. And this is one of the reasons why while our earlier founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, so to speak, when he was president, went against the banks about eliminating their bank charter, because one day they had a vision that banks would be in politics and especially doing things like this, and then we don't have no power to overcome it. Especially if our politicians are being paid off and controlled more so now than our founders can ever envision. So we as the people got to wake up and realize, yeah, my grandmother taught me she never trusts banks, never trust banks,
Yeah.
because of the same exact reason now. And so get a lot of cash, get a lot of equity. There's something that can be used, because all you're doing is just up. To me, all you're doing is, when you put your money in the bank, you save and whatever, they can use it. They ain't got to tell you how they're using it. They're using it, and they can risk it. And like, for instance, Donald Trump, that possibly can't pay back loans or inflating their values and whatever, and getting more loans. That means more money coming out that can't be replaced if they can't back it. Correct. So it just we got to reform the whole damn thing, man. It's only for the rich, and the people are tired of it, and I'm damn so tired of it. So
Absolutely. All right. Next. Taliban nonprofits in the U.S. Pardon me there. Okay. Taliban has established fraudulent non-governmental organizations to loot the hundreds of millions of dollars in humanitarian aid that the United States has sent Afghanistan since the 2021 military withdrawal. NGOs are typically nonprofits with humanitarian missions that supposedly work to improve public or social welfare. The U.S. government gives NGOs billions of taxpayers every year through various agencies, including the Departments of Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, and State. Prior to the Biden administration's abrupt military withdrawal, the U.S. invested $1.3 billion on education-related programming in Afghanistan, and reportedly it contributed to significant improvements in the Muslim nation's education system. Since the terrorist group returned to power in August of 2021, Uncle Sam has continued to fund Afghanistan's education sector through 6 programs that cost $185.2 million, even though the Taliban has issued decrees drastically limiting access to education for girls and women, as well as restricting women's ability to work and other basic freedoms. Nevertheless, the American taxpayer dollars keep flowing. In fiscal year 2023, which ended in September, the U.S. sent Taliban-ruled Afghanistan over $566 million in humanitarian assistance. Most of it was for emergency food, but a chunk was classified as going to general humanitarian and health. More than $15 million went to a cause that is labeled redacted in the government records. Now, this is just one of the really sad things that were caused when we abandoned Afghanistan overnight, and that was a big blunder on Biden's part. Getting out of Afghanistan was good, but not the way that it was done. And allowed Taliban in. That's really sad. And okay, what do y'all think about that?
It's aggravating because we got all these homeless people that they want to arrest in the United States. Oh, we got to get them off the street. We tired looking at them. Okay, they're not even bothering you. They got their own little tents up. They some of them under the bridge. Some of them, I could see if they was sleeping in the middle of the street holding up traffic. But they're not even bothering you. You trying to pick a fight with somebody who needs help. You got all this money, billions and billions of dollars, and all these abandoned buildings, which means you can put these people inside these buildings, but you don't want to do that. You want to send money to a different country and then complain. Tell them, guess what? We sending money over. Okay, we know we sending money over. We've been sending billions over there for years. But what about the people that's here? And so we have to, we want to be superhero to the whole world, and we can't even be a hero to the people in our own house.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
All righty. What do you think, Angela?
I think it's sad. Like Apostle say, there's a lot of people homeless around here, and I was watching, I think I was watching YouTube or something on YouTube. There's a city in Texas that is making all of they evicting everybody. They evicting everybody. If you don't own the land, you can own the building, the house or whatever, own the land, and if you can't afford to move it, then it's being destroyed and you are being stuck with nothing. There's a young lady, well, not a young lady, she's an elderly lady, that she is fighting to survive. Really, she's trying to fight to get back from this stroke that she had, and now she's having to fight the city, Texas City, because they trying to evict everybody. And they literally, if you cannot afford to move, they don't care how old the house is, how new the house is, they are destroying it, they are demolishing it. You look on miles and miles where they have demolished homes. Why are you doing this when there are so many homeless people around here? Like it just amazed me at what the government is doing and how they just do stuff.
Yeah.
But it's sad. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that reminds
Much
me of the
prayer.
situation here in my hometown. We got so many empty buildings. And a lot of them are big buildings, like used to be Walmart or Kmart or something like that. And I think of all the homeless people we have around here, one of those huge buildings could take in all the homeless people in town with plenty of room left over. And they're just sitting there, nothing, they're doing nothing. So that's what burns me up. So, yeah, I know
It's crazy because every time you turn around, the government, it seems like the government is giving these different cities and states money to do something for the homeless. I remember out in California during the pandemic, they really looked out for their homeless people. They came up with RVs. They got RVs. They park RVs in different locations. Were able to put their people in these RVs. They've even some places have started with the tiny houses. But I remember when Atlanta hosted the basketball tournament. I forget which basketball tournament it was, and then they had the football thing the same year. They hosted the football the NFL Super Bowl. They hosted the Super Bowl and they hosted the basketball thing down there at the Mercedes being they equipped the whole city with cameras. Every corner had a camera. Everywhere you went, you were being watched. They had you had Wi-Fi stations everywhere. You had all kind of different stations everywhere. They were going into the areas where the homeless people, you saw no homeless people. They took all the homeless people, who still to this day, we don't know what they did with all those homeless people. They were putting them on, we know that they were gathering them up on buses, But what did they do with them? Because even right after, you know, everything settled, the dust settled, and these games were over, you know, people were coming back to the area that normally feed these homeless people and do all these different things, especially down near Grady, the Grady Curve, and down right there at 20. That's where a lot of homeless people hang out at. You didn't see them. It's like they were moving them out and they were banning them from coming there, but they were not providing places for them. A lot of people say that they were they started using them for different experiments, all these different tests that they were doing, all these different what's guinea pig. They was using them as guinea pigs to test these different little things. And I think that's what they do with a lot of the homeless people. They figure they don't have family, then they make them organ donors. They do a lot of different stuff because you go to certain areas and you don't see them no more. And then nobody can tell you where they are. It's just like if you don't have some kind of family out there, you know, I don't know. We just need a lot of prayer for our government, because they are the ones that are making these decisions and passing them down.
Yeah. All righty. Michael?
Hey, can you remind me the topic of the discussion? Just the overall. I remember what we're overall talking about, everybody's, you know, points of view, but can you start off by reminding me about beginning of this topic?
This topic is about the millions of dollars given to Afghanistan. It's going in the Taliban.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now I remember what I was going to say. Overall, I think the way how we left, leaving that base behind, we should have left some troops there. I mean, we were there for 20 years because of Osama bin Laden attacks on 9/11 here in our country, and to try to bring down his base, his establishment, his network. Now we know more what's going on now, but at the time, that's the reason why we were there. And to walk away the way we did, and seeing those people come off our planes like that shows weakness. And that's a stain on on us that will forever remain, that we have to rectify. And I think the reason why morally we've kept on spending money there is because of those factors. But that still doesn't justify the weakness of how we left. We shouldn't have left the way we did. We should have drawn down, but not immediately left like we did. Like the troops leave first, but not the citizens, the American citizens that work there. That doesn't make any sense. So that what led up to all the money that we're spending. And truthfully, everybody, I 100% agree with you. There are a lot of people that, how the hell is it so easy that hundreds of billions of dollars that can go to other countries, and we're sitting there starving every day. People, there are citizens on our street starving. And the reason why, I believe, because, I mean, we could do both, but there's not the right leadership to balance it out, to make it work. Like, if you get $100 billion here, well, hell, give us some money. The only time we ever had money that, like, helped us was during the pandemic. Like, people were getting thousands of dollars and businesses were getting money. Now, that was the only time ever we've ever gotten it, something like how other countries would have gotten it. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. And that was only one time I think we ever had experienced that. But I believe that if we're supposed to be the superpower of the world and we're supposed to be policing and all that, then we can police the world. We can police ourselves and help the people that are in need as well. There should be no excuses. And talking about inflation and talking about don't raise taxes on the rich because it will go straight to the poor to help all these programs and help people survive. That shouldn't be a bad thing to fight for and strive for and to agree with. So it just, for right now, the reason why we have a negativity of why sending money to Ukraine or Israel or anybody else, or any of soon to be Taiwan. It's because what we're struggling as American people right now, what we're struggling every day, trying to feed our kids, trying to keep their lights on, the gas on while it's getting cold, try to keep our jobs. Our government, if the government can be so damn concerned about our allies and protecting them, then damn it, be concerned about us that elected them to put them in office. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Bob?
Yeah. The thing with the charities, that's I don't know. It's just more networking, more laundering. But I really don't know much about this subject. But we can move on to the next one. But Steve, I have an echo, but only when you talk. The other ones seem fine.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, that's why I had to switch out before, because I was.
Yeah. Because right now, every time
right now it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having Michael every time I talk, because I hear my voice on his. I don't know why all this happens. It's weird. Seems like we fixed one problem.
I know. I know. It's technology, man.
Yeah. Oh, well, blame it on the Russians. It's all their fault. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see what's next. Okay. Hamas terrorist confession sparks outrage. The Hamas terrorist admitted to Israeli defense forces that he and a fellow member opened fire upon hearing children's cries until the sounds ceased. This news comes in a wave of criticism towards Vice President Kamala Harris, who recently announced the country's first national strategy to counter Islamophobia. This announcement has drawn ire due to its timing, coming just weeks after the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel. Harris stated that taking on hate is a national priority, as she unveiled the White House's plan to combat a surge of hate in America. However, the timing of this post was met with immediate backlash on social media, with many users highlighting the recent increase in hate crimes against Jewish people. The White House has responded to these criticisms by outlining several steps the administration has taken to combat anti-Semitism in the past month. These include engaging with college campus law enforcement and updating the intake process for discrimination complaints under Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. One thing I have noticed since the Hamas Netanyahu war started is not only is there so much more anti-Semitism, but there's a lot more people that are hating on the Palestinians and any Muslims. It's went really crazy. And they had a big protest in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, where there was a big bunch of people protesting in favor of the Palestinians, and another group was protesting in favor of the Jewish people. They had to have a bunch of cops there to keep the peace, and it had a lot of potential to get really, really out of hand. So I suspect we're going to see a lot more of that. What do you think, folks? Michael, you want to go first on this one?
Well, all I can say is, this is a very troubling time for the world, not just for the world, just for the people of Israel and the people of Palestine. After what we've seen, the evidence that came out of what happened overall, of what happened during the October 7th attack on Israel, and how 6 hours of no Israeli soldiers or police that stood in to stop the attack, 6 straight hours. And then the intelligence warned them to look out for them, and they ignored it. And then they say now the intelligence about attacking hospitals and everything like that. Oh, they for sure. We attacked them because there was a Hamas commander terrorist there, and we knew that the terrorists were there. We knew the civilians were there. We had the bomb 'em. I mean, it just I mean, it's not the people. The people deep down, Palestinians, Israelis, the whole world really want peace. It's just the leadership that wants on both sides, on all sides. They might be Democrat, Republican, they might be left or right on the Israeli side, they might be the UK, they might be France, Germany. It's really left and right about the old ways of thinking of the purpose of Israel, instead of at the same time ignoring the rights of the Palestinians. And the only way to create peace is to tell the truths about what led up to this. The Palestinians need their rights respected. Just the basic human decency about water, food, access to the world, just like every other nation, defense. And there's supposed to be a two-state solution about this. We shouldn't be talking about this if there was a two-state solution. Should have been on the table, fixed off in the late 90s when Clinton was president. So it's been faltered. It's been watered down, and now the build up to paint Hamas as all of the Palestinians and the attacks we're seeing, ambulances and hospitals. I mean, come on, man. Enough is enough. The world is waking up to it. And I understand. I'm not saying anything that I'm against the Jewish state or kill the Jews or get rid of the Jews. Or I'm for Palestinians wholeheartedly. It's just, I believe you're born in that land, you're from there. And they're both from the same land. Just like if you're born in America, no matter where you're from genetically or where you're from, your parents or grandparents from, you're an American. And that should have been, they lost that. They lost that belief. They lost that sight. But not because of the people, because of the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu. He is at fault, and he's lied. And he's dragged us into something that possibly will start a war. It's up to him. He can launch a nuke at Damascus and you know what I'm saying, and Syria. Because he's already bombing Lebanon. He's already bombing Syria way before the attack happened. So, I mean, all this has to stop. Benjamin Netanyahu has to be called for what he is. Our president has to call for a full ceasefire, but still go after Hamas. But let's talk about the issues that solve it. And the only way you can do that is where Israelis and Palestinians can live equally in the same area at the same time. That's the only way. That's all I got to say.
All right. Angela? Angela?
I think a lot of people got their hands in this, and a lot of people hands not clean. So it's just a lot of people responsible for a lot of stuff right now. So I think we need to stop pointing the finger at everybody, and people need to own up to their part. Because a lot of people got their hands in this, and nobody's hands is clean. But we pointing fingers. That's all I'm gonna say on this.
All right. Pamela?
I was looking at the first two sentences and it just made me sick. So are they saying Hamas took the children out because they didn't want to hear them cry? So it said they heard the children cry and they fixed it to cease. They ceased the sound. So what did they do with the children? Did they cease them permanently because they didn't want to hear them anymore? I mean, because that's crazy right there. You don't want to hear a child. You don't want to hear a child cry. I think when I hear a child cry, I'm different. I'm one of the people who work with children for years anyway. When I hear a child cry, to me, it's just amazing to me. And It just the magnificent how God had created us, and hear this little person crying, and that's life. That's how I see it. But some people, when they hear a child cry, it gets on their last nerve. They be like, "Shut up, be quiet." Oh, you get on my nerves, you make me sick, and I mean, it really bugs them. But that's how I'm looking at. I'm looking at it like that. And then I was thinking about what Michael had said. Uh, when I look at the Palestinians and the Israelites, I look at them as brothers because they are brothers. Because Abraham, when he had a child by Hagar, who was a Muslim, they had Ishmael. And then he had a baby by Sarah, and that's when Israel came. So they actually are brothers, you know. They just fight. The enemy, he likes to come up with dumb stuff. They are brothers, and they fighting over land that is both of theirs. I mean, it's your land. This land is both of their land, but because you Muslim, okay, you got the same daddy. So they fighting over something that is just ridiculous to me because, but that's how we do. We fight anything. We fight anything. I don't like you because your eyes slanted. I don't like you because you got a big forehead. I don't like it because your legs long. I don't like it because you got 6 fingers. I mean, we find things to be upset about, and
Yeah,
it's just stupid.
yeah, I agree. Well, looks like we lost Bob again, so maybe he'll make it back in a minute. All righty, what's next? This is a scary story here also. Teens exploited by fake nudes illustrate threat of unregulated AI. A phone, a few photos, and artificial intelligence have stirred controversy and shattered the privacy of several teens at a New Jersey high school after they learned that nude images of them created via AI were circulated in group chats. The incident is a poignant example of the threats that come with unregulated, expanding artificial intelligence access, experts told Axios. Some teen girls at Westfield High School in New Jersey learned last month that fake nude images of them were shared among other students. Westfield has been one example of an issue all school districts are grappling with as the omnipresence of technology, including artificial intelligence, impacts students' lives. The district's superintendent, Raymond Gonzalez, said in a statement. Creating deep fakes used to require hundreds of thousands of images of a person. But now one photo is all it takes. And tools to create these types of images have also become more widely accessible. Now, these deep fakes that they're talking about, somebody can take, like, for example, they can take a picture, one of our pictures, just our face, nothing else, and using this AI equipment, they can put a nude body along with it and can be convincing enough and real enough to anybody seeing it would think it's really us. And you know, we used to say, well, seeing is believing. Well, not so much anymore. Seeing isn't also believing. It's sometimes it ain't what you think you're seeing. So, welcome back again, Bob.
Yeah, I keep having those technical issues, man.
Yeah, we see.
We'll get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you want
I
to
could-
comment on that one while you're up here?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know much about that AI stuff, man. I'm still trying to figure out how to download stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, yeah. This technology stuff drives me up a wall, man. So I don't really know anything about AI. It's just AI to me stands for another interference. Just leave me alone. And I'm a pencil and paper kind of guy.
All righty. Thanks, Bob.
Uh,
Angela?
Well, I love I love using the AI. When used properly, it can be an amazing tool. But again, it can cause some it can cause some harm, a whole lot of harm, if getting in the wrong hand and is used improperly. Um, I tell you, if you feed it the right information, it'll give you some great information back in the form of some great content. But it's all about the person that is using it, and that's with anything. It is all about the person that's using in their intent, because just about everything that we have could be used for good. We often see these scammers on social media, the gifts and the talents that these scammers have to scam. If they used it for the right thing, just imagine the impact that they would have if they
uh,
were scamming. So that's what that's my opinion about the AI. I think if in the right hands and used properly, it can be a great tool. But then again, it can be a threat if not used right.
Yeah.
So that's
I
my
agree.
take.
There's a lot of applications that
And
are
I'm
good.
gonna have to jump off.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate to see you go, but you have a nice evening.
Thank
All
you. I'll
righty.
see y'all on Tuesday.
Okay. See you then. Bye-bye. Tamala?
This is horrible because mental health and mental illness is on a high. People, they are so upset right now. Everything gets on everybody's nerve. And to do this to somebody, you're not just damaging them and embarrassing them. You're damaging them mentally too, emotionally, because you don't know what they might do to themselves. Because here it is, they're saying, "This is not me. This is not me," and other people say, "But this is you because this is your face." And say, "Yeah, this is my face, but that's not me. I didn't take my clothes off. I'm not naked." And, but this is you. And here it is trying to defend themselves, and they got this craziness going on. And I still, the best movie I seen was like The Terminal List, and SWAT had this too, where they use AI and they use the person's face, and they use the person's voice, and change everything around, and change the scenery, and act like they was actually there, and act like they actually said something. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah. All righty, Michael.
Well, all I can say about it's sad that I could have already imagined years back when AI was really introduced smallly, but now it's being more talked about in more of a streamlined fashion. Just like what was that movie? Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, and the Terminator movies. We should use AI to help our civilization to grow and to learn, but never to be the student that overtakes the teacher. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to our most powerful assets, our power grid, our weapons, our strategic, advantage. We can't let just computers take, make decisive decisions in order for that to determine our safety. I just think that to a limit for right now, AI should be kept at bay. But for the use of helping, like medically to find cures for cancer or whatever else, we've been trying to figure out how to fix or how to cure. That should be used for that. But for this evil, it's about naked kids in school and all that. No, I mean, like I said, everything that's new that comes out, great things come out of it, but also bad things can be used for it. So we just got to fight to erase that fact out of it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what's next on the agenda. Hamas terrorists disguised as civilians attempt to evacuate Gaza. Hamas, the terrorist group controlling the Gaza Strip, has been attempting to sneak its militants out of the area disguised as evacuating civilians. This audacious move has complicated evacuation efforts that began after a terrorist attack on Israel on October 7th. The revelation has further strained the already tense situation, with the United States and its partners now discussing the deployment of foreign troops to serve as peacekeepers in Gaza. The aim is to stabilize the region and prevent further violence. Israel has allowed Palestinians access to a key highway in the Gaza Strip for evacuation purposes. However, the window for this evacuation has now closed, and refugees are being urged to move southwards away from the areas of conflict. I kind of figured this might happen, once they start letting people out of Gaza going into Egypt, and now Hamas is trying to sneak across with them, which is going to cause them to close that border again. And Netanyahu is definitely against any kind of ceasefire or pause for humanitarian purposes or anything. So there's no good end I see coming to all this. There's no good end. What do you think, Tamala?
A little leaven leavens a whole lump. You got an apple full of, you got a bag of apples. All you need is one spoiled apple to spoil all the apples. And this is why Egypt was hesitant in helping, because they didn't want their door to be open where Hamas will run in. Here it is, they trying to help the Palestinians, and they weren't trying to help Hamas. And that was the hesitation, like, we want to help. The trucks here, the food here, the supplies here, everything that they need is sitting right here in these trucks. But if we open the border and we're trying to help those who really need the help, but here come the bad people, it's like, come on now. So here it is trying to play undercover, but they don't want that mess in Egypt. Egypt don't want to be fighting right now. They're just trying to help. So this is just, it's sad. And now these people got to suffer because Hamas wants to play games.
Yeah. All righty, Michael.
Well, the intelligence, again, how do they know? Common sense would say they would try to get away under that format to get to Egypt. But how do they really know? How did Israel really know if they didn't know or ignored the October 7th attack? So again, under that format, how I'm thinking, the questions are valid, what you're asking, but there are more bigger questions that need to be answered before those questions you're asking need to be answered as well. I just, when I hear about humanitarian aid to Gaza, right, to the people. First thing I hear is after that they're saying that Hamas is going to steal the convoys and take it for themselves and whatnot. As a fear tactic not to even send it in the first place, correct? That's mainly, could be true, it could be false, could be made up, but mainly saying those words, saying that sentence is pretty much a fear. I just don't believe overall what's going on. I mean, I believe that people were killed, people were threatened that shouldn't have been threatened and got killed. I believe that was wrong. There's no justification about that. I just don't believe, it just doesn't feel right. Like you got attacked and then, and then how you just attack hospitals and attack, refugee camps and ambulances and then justify and say at first, no, but yeah, we did it. We could, but we did. It's something else going on. And I just believe that the Palestinian people and the Israeli people need to find a common way of peace. You have Iran. The only reason Iran is mad at Israel is because of how they treat the Palestinians. That's it. If they had a way of a two-state solution, they wouldn't be arguing right now. They wouldn't even hate Israel. It's just as simple as that. I mean, but Israel, the government of Israel, is expecting the world to accepting that it's okay to do what they're doing to these people, like back then. But now the world's changed. We're waking up to see the real truth of what's going on. But we got to have Americans step up and call out Benjamin Netanyahu to say, look, stop all the bombing. Go in there with your special forces and find Hamas and kill them. But find a way to get to release the hostages and find a way for peace, because the continuation of this is going to cause us to a world war that we don't want to be a part of. That's just my thought about it.
All right. Okay, that brings us to our last story. And this article is, it's beyond disgusting. And I even debated on whether or not I wanted to talk about it because it is so disgusting. But I decided to go ahead and talk about it because it's something that people need to know about, especially people with kids in school. So here we go. A New Jersey school janitor charged with endangering child welfare and food tampering. A janitor at an elementary school in New Jersey is facing multiple charges, including endangering the welfare of a child. The accused, 25-year-old Giovanni Impellizzeri, allegedly posted videos of himself performing obscene acts, including masturbating and urinating on cafeteria bowls and spitting on food that was subsequently served to children at the Elizabeth Moore School. According to an affidavit, Impellizzeri contaminated food and utensils at the school with saliva, urine, and feces. The incriminating footage was posted on Telegram, a social media platform, leading to his arrest on Tuesday after a user reported the disturbing content to the police. The affidavit further details that Impellizzeri performed sex acts with items from the school and engaged in actions that put the students' well-being at risk. This included wiping his private parts and anus with various utensils and items from the school. The video also allegedly shows him masturbating and urinating on pillows and kitchen bowls. and spraying bleach into a container of cucumbers that was later served to the children. Now that was even hard to read. It's really hard. And like I say, the only reason I'm talking about it because parents need to know to be super careful about the schools their kids go to and what people have any kind of access to them. And schools need to take this kind of thing seriously and do some background checks on people and make sure this kind of crazy, perverted stuff doesn't happen. You know, this is just beyond disgusting. So, I don't know. What do you think about that? Emily, you want to go first on that one?
I just don't understand. I understand now because after the pandemic, a lot of teachers have left and they just letting anybody come in now because they actually just need a babysitter because the real educators have left. I left right before the pandemic. I retired in 2019 because I couldn't take it no more. But I left right before it started. But I had to go through the 3rd degree just to become an educator, you know? It wasn't easy to become one. You had to make sure you had a degree. You had to go through the Ohio Department of Education. You had to get a background check. You had everything. Go to the police, get your hand scanned, wait so many days. And I'm trying to figure out how's they, but then, you know, I want to say, how is this possible? But it is possible now because now they just hire anybody because you don't need it. You don't need a degree. You don't need anything. They just need babysitters. They need somebody to come in and make sure the children stay in the classroom. But before then, it was hard to become a teacher. I mean, they gave you the 3rd degree. You couldn't just walk in and you had to prove who you were. You had to make sure you had all your ducks in a row. If you did, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, we can't hire you until you get all this. I had to make sure all my stuff was turned in before I got hired. But now, not anymore. Anybody, you don't even need a education degree anymore. Anybody can just go in. Because they are so desperate in need of somebody to be in the classroom. And it's sad because this is what we're going to get. This is not going to be the first or the last because you're going to have all different kind of crazies that's going to come in and try to hurt our children. And it's sad. It is so sad because our children, they looking towards adults to guide and protect and watch over them and make sure they get to the next level. And now they have to not just worry about bullying, but then they have to worry about, is my food going to be contaminated? You know, that is so disgusting.
Yeah.
So this is luck.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Tamara. Michael?
Yeah, I'll be short and sour on this one because this is just terrible. A trusted person that worked around children, his fluids and his whatever. I want to bring it up. God bless you, sir, for telling that story. I know it was hard for you to tell, but oh my God, it was hard for me to hear. I've heard some weird stories, but Jesus, that's just beyond. And you're right, Pamela, that Angela, that overall that it's like they hire anybody because of the lack of qualified people that would take those jobs, even the cut in pay. And now they're just accepting anybody without the background checks and just hope to God they'll be all right. But now we see, like, man, our children are in mortal danger. And I mean, just imagine this is just the one we know about. Just imagine how many more there are out there.
Yeah.
That hasn't slipped yet. So instead of just praying for the kids that already been called up, we need to pray for the kids that have been called up, but we don't know of right now. And then we gotta have a government that cares about our children and their futures and their education and their protection. Because that right there is that just disgusts me. I mean, I was having stomach problems before I got on. That's why I was late. Now, when you told that story, that kind of just got my stomach bubbling. I swear, I'm very sensitive on those things. When it comes to kids, I'm very sensitive. That makes me mad as well, too. I'm sorry. Wow.
Okay.
I mean, they got the guy. I mean, the guy's got, right? He's in jail and everything, right?
Well, he was arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They better give him the damn mountain. Something. Jesus.
Now, in a room somewhere with a bunch of parents and let them deal some justice to him, right? All righty. Well, we've got to the end of our list, and so let's go ahead and let everybody, what's left of us, tell you what you got going on. So go ahead, Tamala.
Okay. I have an outreach ministry called Come Home, Stop Talking About It. We're here to help people the best way we can. We're not a multi-millionaire ministry. You know, sometimes people get ridiculous when they ask for help, but we help the best way that we can. And also, I'm an author of various books. I have a book called Pumpy, You Are Loved. It's about my mom. I also have a children's book. You probably can't see it, but it's called, one is called Salisa, You Are Loved. And then we have here goes Salisa, You Are Loved. That's one of my children's books. Then we got my other children's book. It talks about the sun, you know, the days of the week. Is called How I Feel on Any Given Day. So that's the days of the week. And so I have a religious book called The Godhead. And I also have another religious book called Amazing Bible Study Workbook. And I'm working on a reference book. The reference book is finished, but I want to change the format. I am a gospel singer, and I do have some gospel songs that's already copyrighted, but I only have one single out, and that's called When I Was Nothing, God Loved Me. And I appreciate you allow me to be here, and I thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Michael?
Well, again, thank you, Steve, for allowing me to be on your show. Sorry, I kind of sound hoarse 'cause I've been yelling during the game, so for the Browns. So, but great discussion, great conversation we had, great topics to bring up. My name is Michael D. Landingham. I am a candidate for the presidency of these United States of America for 2024, the people's candidate for the people's justice. To keep it short and sweet, just Google my name, Michael D. Landingham for president. You'll see three things. Number one, my website that can show what really happened during the 2020 election when I was threatened by the former president, Donald J. Trump. Also, the second thing you will see is my $2 billion federal lawsuit under the Freedom of Information Act of the cover-up of what happened now under Joe Biden. I'm suing his Justice Department. Number three, you also see with my story, my case, and who I am and why I'm running for president will be the new awakening of the American spirit. Find new ways to come together and coexist in order to solve our problems that we desperately need to fix. Not for just us, but for the world. I just asked for y'all to Google my name. Everything should be displayed. You have any other questions, just contact me at landingham2020@gmail.com. Our campaign number is area code 216-703-2177. Go Browns. Stay blessed, America, and take care.
Thanks, Michael. Alrighty, and I'm Steve Holder. I'm your host, and I've got several books out on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all the other leading booksellers. So check me out. And here's my link tree listed. You can see that, and my website, steveholder2020.com. So thanks to everybody that tuned in tonight. We were glad to have you here. Thanks to our panel. Thanks, Michael and Tamala. And hope to see you all again Tuesday night. And everybody that's joining us, feel free to come back Tuesday and watch us all over again. We have whole new things to talk about. So God bless everybody. See you soon.